Okay, hi everybody, it's Dara and Jenna is in from London, and some of you may have seen the video that I did with her, that we did together about human design. A lot of people liked that video.
Yeah?
Yeah, they loved it. It really helped because human design is something that helps us to understand who we are and act accordingly, and therefore have more success and more joy and more love and more of everything good.
Right.
So you gave us a rundown on the general different personality types, yes?
Yeah, I remember that. That was such a fun video.
Yeah.
And also just because it was so nice for me to hear. I remember hearing about like how helpful human design was for me, that obviously like sometimes it's just like such a relief to hear that, okay, like all these things that I think are weird, or the things that I enjoy that I judge myself for, are actually like good things, and I should be doing these things, and I shouldn't be like being made to feel guilty for like the way I am, just because it's different from what my parents
we
do.
are different. We're 20% of the population, so we're definitely different. And what basically human design is a combination of the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and astrology.
Yeah.
It's on a whole nother level, and it's
Totally.
very, very complicated, but you can look up mybodygraph.com and put in your birthday, your birth time, where you were born, and you can find out what your personality type is. And what I do, she's going to tell us a little bit. I'm trying to push the door. Jenna's been, since you last saw her, she's learned more. So she can share with us a little more perhaps. But basically what I do is I take the little information and then I'll Google that. And then I take that piece and I Google that.
Yeah.
And we learn a little bit. Basically we're deconditioning ourselves from trying to have to be like everybody else.
Yes,
right?
pretty much. And we're trying to, if you think that everybody has like a real self, and you have like two ends of that spectrum, and one is you're really living your not self, and one is you're really living like who you're supposed to be. No matter who you are, if you're living your not self, you're just always going to be unhappy or unsuccessful or not winning at life, pretty much. And if you are kind of listening to your inner authority rather than like what society tells you to do, then you know that's when you're going to be led to being the full expression of who you truly are.
Right.
And that's like what feels good to you. Do you know what I mean? Most of the time it's like, oh, what feels good is actually what you should be doing. I think that's just as simple as that, though, isn't
It's
it?
as simple as what feels good to you, but that might go against what your mother taught you or what society says. So, for example, we are projectors. That's 20% of the population. More of the population are generators, which means that they'll get up in the morning and go, 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 and don't stop until their head hits the pillow, and that's what works for them. And that's really what our society has been pressuring us to do.
Yes.
More work, less rest, more production, less self-care, less, like think about in Europe, like there's more without our westernization coming in and kind of ruining things. There's more communing, there's more social, there's more peace when you eat.
There's a slower life too, like the slower pace, like everyone has a siesta, you know, people stop looking at their phones after work, like all that kind of thing. Most of the world though, you know what I mean? We forget that just because we're in our little cocoon of like, too much work is better, no sleep makes you better, like you're hardcore if you don't, like, you know, if you neglect your own needs and everything, like most of the world just enjoys their slower pace of life, and they still get stuff done.
And they get stuff done, and they have beautiful lives and less stress, and they're leaner, they're not as overweight, they're not as stressed. The stress is doing really bad things. So basically what Jenna and I came on this planet to do is to help guide others. That's what projectors do.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, we need our rest, we need self-care, we need to recoup on our own.
And we're non-energy beings, so we need more rest than most people would.
So can you explain that? Some people have energy,
so
and we're non-energy beings. So we're talking about projectors now. Go ahead.
Yeah, so projectors are non-energy beings.
And project your voice, because I want them to hear you.
Okay, so projectors are non-energy beings, which means that we don't have the ability to produce our own energy in the same way that a generator or a manifesting generator or a manifestor would. So it just means that if you are trying to be that person who's always hustle, 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 I'm trying to go get her, I'm Nike, just do it, and I get up in the morning and I this and that, if you're projected, that's not the way you're supposed to be living your life, because it's inauthentic to you. It's not your energy system. It's not how you're supposed to work. So I would say, like, a lot of my life trying to be that kind of, like, you know, I plan everything, I organize everyone, I'm doing all these things, and it would actually never get me anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
And
it never
can lead
led
to
me to
exhaustion
success
and unhappiness.
I was burnt out all the time, and I wasn't ever, like, good at what I wanted to be good at. And I just thought I wanted to be good at it because it makes you a good person. Like, it makes you
a good business person, a good everything.
And since I've started living my design, like, obviously you're always more happy, you're always more successful, things come to you more easily, you know. And that's not to say that you just, you know, give up on life and that you just don't do anything, but it's like you live with the intention and the awareness of, like, okay, this is how I work and I completely accept it.
This is how I work and I completely accept it. I'm not going to be like my boyfriend, my mother, whatever society's pushing. And it's a little bit tricky because it makes you different. So if you're a projector like us, and you're not living according to your design, which basically means we need to wait for an invitation. We need to not push ourselves to sell something. We need to be invited to show what we have.
We're not good hustlers because it comes across as, like, needy, bossy, unattractive. It's repelling to people. They don't like it. You know, there are some people that are great hustlers, but if you're a projector, it's just not a good look. It doesn't come across well to people. People don't like it.
No.
And that's a hard thing. It can be a hard thing to hear, I think, you know. But it is helpful.
Yeah. Like, we know things, projectors know things, and we walk around, and if we don't know about our human design, then we might want to tell everybody what we know. We might want to say, but that's not the way to do it, or don't you know, blah, blah, blah. And then, to me, the energy, when I used to, because I haven't for a long time, but when I used to say something to someone without asking, would you like to hear, or without being invited, Dara, what do you think? The energy would go towards them and fall flat, almost like it hit a wall and just sizzled to the bottom. And it didn't feel good for me, and it didn't feel good for them. The energy didn't flow. But when someone says, Dara, I know you know things, what do you think? Like, can you tell me what you think about this? And then I share, then the energy just, like, circles back around, and it doesn't feel so flat and icky. So to be a projector, to be comfortable with waiting for the invitation.
Can be so
what did you find out? Like, okay, so there's, like, you're either one of those four things.
Yeah, or you're a reflector.
Right. So you're a generator, which is a lot of people. You're a manifester. You could be a manifesting generator, which is like a generator on steroid. Superhero. And then I know some of them, and it's so cool. And then you can be a projector like us, which we're meant to guide people, and for us to guide people to do things more efficiently. And I also know, and this is so right for me, I imagine for you too, if it's not play, I can't do it. My work has to be my joy.
I think that's the thing about the whole of human design, is that it's here to remind you that we're supposed to be here to be happy, and different things will make each of us happy, but we're all here to, like, have bliss on earth, and we're all here to, like, do the things that make us feel good, and that's how we're going to be, like, you know, our best selves in life. And obviously we have different modes of getting there, and that's what this is all for. Like, if you're a manifester, you're supposed to be unashamed to just, like, blaze a trail.
Like, say what you want and blaze a trail.
And because people want to follow you, people want to do what you're doing, and you're here to create movements. But it's likely that if you're a manifester, life has given you that want to do that anyway. You know, you're born with, like, trying to lead people, or just say what you want to say.
And what about manifestors in a relationship? Can they go after what they want?
Okay. They're supposed to. They're just supposed to be, like,
this is it.
Unashamed. Like, if you want to get on my train, you can, and I'm going to go there anyway. I don't need permission from anybody else to actually just, like, set these wheels in motion. I'm just pure uninitiated energy, and I can just, like, start it whenever I want.
And then the generators are the ones who actually can do the physical labor to get the manifestor's vision accomplished.
Generators are basically, like, they are just the hustlers. They're just the born hustlers. And that's why we do live in a world where it's like hustle, hustle, hustlers, because actually, like, it does suit a big part of who, like, the human race is currently, like, proportionally at. Do you know what I mean? We live in a time where it's 30% generators, and 30% manifesting generators. So 60% of the world is actually good at hustling.
Go.
Yeah, but those people have to hustle in a way that feels good to them, pursue things that makes them happy. It doesn't mean that you have to work in a bank if you hate it just because you think someone told you that's the only way to make money.
Right.
And therefore you have to push yourself like crazy and burn out.
They still need to check in. Do all generators and manifesting generators have their authority can be different?
Yes.
Like some are splenic, some are emotional. So for example, let's discuss the different authorities. Like mine is splenic. I know mine because I know how I make decisions. I know in an instant if somebody's right or not. I know in an instant what the answer is. Sometimes I even know what the future will be in an instant without thinking about it. And then there's another kind of authority. So splenic is like animalistic, like fight or flight. What is the emotional authority that...
So emotional authority means that you have to make a decision based on your emotions, but your emotions in the moment won't always be right.
Right, so you need time.
So you need time, depending on the rest of your human design. I mean, there's so many things that come into it. But for example, I think generators have a sacral authority, which means that literally you have to listen to your gut.
That's what I was thinking. They do. Okay, they have a sacral authority. They have to listen to their gut. But sometimes do they have to leave some time to see how their gut feels? Like it might not be instantaneous.
Yeah, I don't actually know enough about the timing of these things. But I do know that if you have a sacral authority, that's where this whole like your gut doesn't lie, go after your instinct, like that's where all this is born, because it does make sense. Like you have that sacral center, that second chakra that's like speaking to you at all times, and you can have that as your really reliable resource of like that's your inner guide. So I think it's really interesting that human design is I think it just concurs with this whole idea that no one can do something that's against who they really are for long and kid themselves that that's going to lead them to success, happiness, money, a good relationship, nothing.
Right. Because on the flip side, on the side of not acting according to your authority, you have a thing called bitterness or whatever those...
Frustration,
anger.
All the negative emotions, basically. And those are obviously signs that you're doing something that's like not in concurrence with your spirit, you know?
Right.
Like I think when I feel something that's like icky inside, it just means like, oh, there's a part of my like best self that I'm betraying here, you know? Like what am I not doing, or what am I not facing?
What part of myself am I betraying? If I feel icky, that's so interesting, because this goes with the video I made last about speaking your truth. Like what in my body doesn't feel right? Do I feel depressed? Do I feel repressed? Am I feeling headachy or out of sorts? And then to get aligned with who you are.
Yeah, and we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? Like when we were saying that basically like what's the biggest thing that stops us from exploring ourselves and looking inside is this fear of like, what if I see something I don't like? What if that makes me a bad person? Or what if it means I'm just going to judge myself and discover that I really don't like who I am? Or it means I'm a horrible person, or the thing that my dad always says I was is actually true, or whatever, you know? But then actually almost coming to that acceptance that like everyone has good and bad, and that doesn't make you better or worse than anyone. Like we're all special and we're all here to
She always says that we're all special. We're all special and we're not good and bad.
Yeah.
Jen is the most non-judgmental friend ever. Like seriously, you're the most non-judgmental person. It's all love and it's all good. So even the bad parts of ourselves. I think you answered that when I was asking you, like, how do people address what's going on with them, like before something severe happens, before something goes out of whack so strong that they have to go to a doctor? How do we stay in touch?
Yeah.
You know,
because we were saying like, isn't it so crazy that sometimes we wait for something so bad to happen to have to actually then do something different? And can we like catch it before?
Can we do preventative medicine for ourselves, just like eating raw food and decluttering regularly? What can we do for ourselves to make sure that we're in check, following our design? And even if you don't know human design, it's following what makes your heart happy. I guess for me, it's like when something happens and I think about how it would be to go to that thing that somebody asked me to, or how it would feel if I did this. It's like checking in with
yourself.
Yeah. It sounds so vague though. I want to give specifics.
Yeah.
I want to give specifics. Like,
it's funny because sometimes, like, when I hear other people's advice on how to do this, I know that if it's right for me or if it's not, because I know if I'll do it or not. You know, like, if you're not a list person and we're sitting here being like, make a list of things, then it's just, you're never going to do it. So I guess it's about finding a practice that actually like rings inside you. And I know for me, like, I'll always just like put my hand on my heart and say like, okay, don't worry, like, what are you feeling today? Like, let's just, you know, it's almost like my higher self talks to my like inner, like my child self, and it says, you're gonna be okay, like, you're not a bad person, you're going through some stuff right now, and I know you're hurting, but let's look at this together and it's gonna be okay.
So it's two of her. So two of her. There's two. There's like the higher self and then the little girl self.
Yeah.
And you're like, don't worry, we got this. We're in this together. What's the deal? It's funny because I was like, I'll say to myself, okay, I feel a little icky or I feel sad. Why am I doing this? How did I contract this? And you're doing it a different way. I'm saying, how did I contract? What have I said yes to that's giving me a headache? Or who am I engaging with that's giving me a pain in the neck? Or what is it that I've called into my life? But you're doing it from, it's a very compassionate perspective. It's like, hey, let's do this together. Like, what's going on? Let's do this together.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then I think there's a really delicate balance though between, because there's a really delicate balance between, and I think we live in a society where we either have to say, oh, I'm so terrible, or I'm like so bad at this and I need to repent for my sin and I've been so blah blah blah, versus poor me, I'm the victim. And there's this like middle way, which is the way that like is the only way we can really grow, which is like, okay, you're not perfect, it doesn't matter, you're not terrible either, this is just your path, and just accept that. Now let's move forward. Like, don't dwell on that.
So instead of self-flagellation, and what's the opposite of self? What was the first one you said? Is like
victimizing yourself.
Right.
Like, oh, I can't do anything. I have no power. Like, I can't. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Because this is just happening to me.
This is just happening to me. Like, no, right.
And I think you either believe in coincidences and that life happens to you, or you believe that you're like completely co-creating your life, but that means you have to take complete responsibility for everything.
So if you want to heal, you can co-heal with a health practitioner, right?
If you want success, you can co-create your success. But at the same time, like if you have a fight with someone or if something bad happens to you illness-wise, you have to also be able to say, okay, I called that in, or I'm still, you know, at some kind of low-level vibration that's calling that in.
And I called it in because it served me in some way.
Yeah.
It serves me. When I call something in, that's what I tell people. If you want to know why you got a dis-ease or a health opportunity, ask yourself, how does it serve me? How do those symptoms serve me? Right? Oh, in the middle of a bad relationship, I contracted hypothyroidism so I could slow down and not be able to go with him on all the things he wanted to do. So that I perhaps gained weight because he didn't like weight gain. Whatever those things are, there's specific reasons. Like even the symptoms of themselves serve us. So it's kind of like you did it as a blessing so you can get to the next level.
And sometimes it's just like, you know, if you really trust that the universe has your back, it's like, okay, maybe I'm judging this as bad right now, but maybe this is here to help me get to my next level, in which case, thank you, even though it feels like crap. Now let's look at it. Instead of dwell on, oh, it's so bad, or oh, I'm so bad, or oh, this is so blah, blah, blah. You know, we spend so much time in that soup of judgment, and instead it's just like, okay.
Soup of judgment. And what did you call it? You called it the
No, my best friend called it smothering it in judgment sauce.
Smothering it in judgment sauce.
But it holds us back so much.
It contracts us. It's like a contractive energy.
Yeah, but like also, who do we think we are? God? Like to say this is good and this is bad and da, da, da. And we spend so much of our time doing that. It's like,
yeah, this is good and that's bad and it's bad if I do this, and I know I said I was going to do this and I didn't do it and I'm bad, or I ate this thing and I'm bad. It's like,
and by the way, I'm convinced that that's what makes you like hold on to the weight or keep the acne or whatever. It's just like, oh, I can't believe I ate the cookie yesterday. Oh my god, I can't believe I ate the cookie. How can I upset that today? Oh my god, I need to go to a double workout class. Oh, I can't believe I ate the cookie.
All that distorts the cells, makes you hold on to your own negative
judgment.
Don't cover yourself in judgment sauce. What's your friend's name?
Amelia.
Amelia. Hi, Amelia. That just made me giggle. Don't cover yourself or anyone else in judgment sauce.
Yeah. It's so destructive. But how much better is it to turn around and be in a situation and just be like, okay, this is happening to me on some level. I played my part in this. I have responsibility, but that also means I have the power to change it. And I'm going to be a better person when it's finished. Yeah. How great is that? That feels so good.
It's so good. You also she has a great ability to take it to the next level. Like, let's say you need to do someone. Let's say you need to quit your job and you're worried about what your boss is going to think when you say, I'm leaving. Oh my God, I'm leaving them, in what are they going to do without me? All the things that would prevent you from getting out of the job. And what's the thing that you tell yourself? Do you know what I'm thinking?
No.
You think about how it will serve you to leave the job, but in the end it will actually serve
them. Because I really believe that this situation that's best for you is also the situation that's best for everybody else. So it's not, instead of again judging like, oh, but maybe I'm going to put them out, or maybe they're going to be inconvenienced, or maybe if it's good for them then I'm losing out, or too much for them, if they win then I lose, and whatever. It's like, actually, if this is the best situation for me, then I know that by default it's the best situation for them too, because I had to judge that it's like the highest good for all is always going to prevail. That obviously means I'm not making my decision out of ego, out of fear, out of trying to reassure myself that I'm always right, or that I'm all this like belief systems in my head. It's just like, really, is this the best thing for me? Right. Then I just have to trust that everyone
So
else
it really comes down to really knowing. That's the first thing, is knowing what's best for yourself. Mm-hmm. It's really checking back in with yourself instead of external stimulus, instead of other people's ideas. Mm-hmm. What makes your heart happy? What gives your spirit flight? Mm-hmm. What makes you go, like, gives you like a start, that you are a little spark of excitement. For me, it's inspiration, like what inspires me. And when the inspiration is gone, I know something's wrong. Like, something must be affecting me. I told her, Jenna, I said, I was like, I don't feel like painting, and I don't, I'm doing videos, but like, where are my food videos? And I started to feel like, what's suppressing that vitality?
Your natural vitality. Yeah. And that's kind of when you know something's up.
For me, yeah.
I think we all know on some level, like, you can't really hide, like when your head hits that pillow and it's just you in your head at night. Mm-hmm. No Instagram, like, constant feed to like just inject some other, like, distractionary thoughts in there or whatever, when it's just you and your pillow. It's like,
put down the Instagram.
You feel that like, that little hangover inside, like that authenticity hangover, like, oh, I'm kind of not living up to who I really think I could be, or I'm not being fair to myself here.
And it's constant. I don't think this is a one-time job where all of a sudden you realize what makes you happy. Like, I'm sorry, but I just pulled my clothes out of, you see it on Snapchat, I dumped my t-shirt drawer, because I'm like, there's t-shirts in there I don't wear, and it's not all folded nice like the Cone Marie method. I gotta dump it and take a look at it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a one-time fold your things nightly and it's done nicely. You have to constantly keep your eyes open for what's landed in your space, what's landed in your heart, what it's a constant.
It's hard to do in the world of like the 21-day fix and the 7-day juice cleanse and the 5 days to the belly. You know what I mean? Like, it is hard because we live in a time when everyone's like, once you get to this end point, then you're sorted.
Middle, and an end.
You're fine.
Oh yeah, no.
And it just needs to be this like gentle, compassionate commitment to like every day, just a little more, and like, let's see where this goes, and let it be playful.
Gentle, compassionate commitment. That's beautiful. A gentle, compassionate checking in commitment with yourself.
Not like, oh, I need to get there.
Right.
And let me just quickly like squeeze and constrain and do everything I need to do to just be there, and then I'm done.
Like a cleanse, like then you fall back to the way you used to be. To me, it's like an everyday thing.
Like you were saying to me yesterday, you were like, instead of just focusing on like these places we can go that are retreats and all this stuff, how about just like the daily practices of
instead
just
of
being healthy?
Instead of going to a retreat, do every day like a retreat.
Love that. That's so good. In the same way that we should be with our emotions, though.
Yeah, that's the thing that's new to talk about for me on this channel anyway, is how what's the gauge? If our bodies flare up with a physical symptom, we know there's something emotionally wrong, but can we get it on a more subtle level? So we can catch it before it goes that far.
Right. And sometimes it's not so bad that our bodies are able to speak to us in a loud way. Like I think, don't beat yourself up if you do have something that comes up.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're bad, but there is a nice thing to be.
Hold on. And I'm talking loud because we're going to talk over the airplanes. It's other people, serving other people.
Pleasing other people.
Pleasing other people.
Being a person that other people would like you to be. So that you can then feel good about yourself because you look good in their eyes, and therefore it's almost like saying your impression of me means more than my own impression of myself. I've done that.
I've done that too. How nice to be in a place where you can say your impression of me is not what's important. Like I know me, and that's the thing. Going back to human design, is that gives you that it gives you the words. Like you know, we can be seen as lazy because we might have 3 hours of self-care that need to happen on any particular day, but then in a short amount of time we'll get done what somebody else might get done in a day, but it looks different.
But you know, you almost can't self-diagnose this kind of thing because the way you are now, you might be acting like a totally different type, and that's quite common before we start living our design.
Right.
So you can't say, oh, that sounds like me, so I think I'm a this.
No.
You really have to go and check out your design because it might shock you.
They say that it takes 7 years to decondition.
Yeah. And really start living your design. Yeah.
I want to get more into it. She's been studying. I'm going to find out. There's a book by Karen Curry.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Understanding Human Design.
Understanding Human Design, so you can read about it.
But Dr. Google's really good too.
Dr. Google. Just
it's
Google
really
it.
Good too.
Google it.
It's really good. When you go on the My Body Graph and you see all the information on the side about your specific chart, you then can just pick up like each bit and Google each bit, and then it just will give you the
Google
whole
your friend, and
bit.
Google your child, and Google your husband or your partner.
Yeah.
And you'll have so many aha moments, right? Like,
You're right. I think the way you put it is amazing, which is like knowing yourself is so important, but having a system where you can like name things, or language where you can say this the authority, it's the right, it's your cross, it's your this, it's your that. It just helps you not be so vague when it comes to describing people, because I know, like, if I'm sitting with a group of my girlfriends and I don't know human design and I'm 18 years old, I can just be like, well, this person's just that, and da 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 da, and you just go off on, you know, the words that mean different from me to you. Like I might say this person's this and it means something else completely. Like it just gets lost in translation. Whereas if I say like, oh, she's not living her own self because I see that bitterness because of the projector and da da da, then it makes it kind of a bit more scientific, which sometimes helps because it just removes like...
It does help.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how feng shui helps ground in the intuition you have about your home. There's science and there's things to follow. I find it absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Like just to the point where I know, I don't remember what in my chart, but you'll probably know, where everything, the question I ask myself before I do anything having to do with business or anything in life is, if I am successful at that, will it bring joy to me and others? And I don't remember what that is in my chart. I'm like, that makes total sense. Acts of service.
Oh yeah, that's your incarnation cross.
It's my incarnation cross. So there's all these things you get to look up. I hope you have the time to do it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
mybodygraph.com. Post below what you are. Right?
Yeah, because I'm fascinated by what other people
I can't believe you're leaving tomorrow. I want to make more videos.
I know, I need to come back.
You need to come back. She's coming back, everybody.
I'll be back.
Anything else?
We talked for half an hour.
Yeah, we did. We better hang up now. We're going to hang up the phone now. Love you guys.
Bye.
We talked for half an hour.